And as primary season kicks off, state election officials around the country are navigating an unusual political landscape ahead of November's midterms, with a chance that an election bill making its way through Congress could overhaul the country's voting laws, and a president who's calling for more federal control over voting and continues to make false claims about the election he lost in 2020. Joining me now is Michigan Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson. She is also a Democratic candidate for governor. Secretary Benson, I do want to start with the overall landscape heading into the midterm elections. How is Michigan preparing for the primaries in August and the general election in November?
Well, we've been through this rodeo before in 2020, 22, 24. So we've got a well-oiled machine here in Michigan. Our elections are safe and secure. We've had back-to-back the highest turnout elections in our state's history over the last several cycles. We have 1,500 local clerks who show up to work every day. They are professional, they are bipartisan, and they are ready to ensure our elections are smooth. And that's why it's so important that elections are run by the states and at the local level, because we know best what our voters need to ensure their voices are heard, no matter who they may vote for. And I'm really proud in Michigan, we've got a record of high turnout, secure elections, where the results are an accurate reflection of the will of the people.
Well, NBC has reported that the FBI has actually invited state election officials to discuss those preparations ahead of the midterms. Sources called the invitation a bit unusual and unexpected. So have you received that invitation, or have other officials in the state? And if so, what can you tell us about it and whether you will take them up on it?
We have. I mean, to a certain extent, working with federal enforcement officials is somewhat routine when ensuring our elections are secure, making sure we have support from federal officials if we need additional monitoring, cybersecurity protections, and the like. That's all been routine and really helpful for the last several cycles. What feels different about this invitation is that it feels more like we're being investigated, or that there's this presumption of impropriety that isn't based on any facts, it's just based on sort of falsehoods and suspicions. And so I think why people are a little bit on edge and suspicious of this invitation is that it's not been extended as a helping hand, but more as a sort of almost investigatory approach. Of course, what happened in Fulton County, Georgia recently just underscores that sentiment. So for us, we welcome support from the federal government, but we also know how to do our jobs, and we expect respect and to a certain extent deference, so that the professionals at the local level are able to do the jobs they signed up to do.
Well, you've said that state election officials are really the only guardrails left when it comes to election security. So tell me more about that and how you think about this idea of putting election guardrails around someone and an administration that has really demonstrated a willingness to test them.
Yeah, it's very clear, and it has been really since we endured and prevailed in the 2020 elections in ensuring our democracy held, that this administration is willing to use every tool at their disposal to try to create chaos and confusion about the sanctity and the security of the elections process. But just as this president doesn't get to decide who wins elections, he also doesn't get to decide who runs them. The law dictates that, and the law has, in a very effective way, enabled us to protect the sanctity of our elections at the local level when it's enforced. And so that's why those state officials are so critical, because we follow the law, we follow the Constitution, we follow the rules, and we make sure that no matter who someone votes for, they can cast their ballot freely and fairly and have confidence that the results are an accurate reflection of their will. That's our duty, that's our oath of office that we take, and our job, unfortunately, in this moment often means guarding that reality, that those protections, guarding our citizens and the safety of our elections against a real overreach and even abuse of authority at times at the federal government.
Well, I want to ask you more about that. How seriously do you take those recent comments from the president about nationalizing voting or having more federal control over elections?
We take them as seriously as we've taken every other seed that he has planted to suggest any element falsely of impropriety or problems with our elections. We know in Michigan, as in other states, our elections are secure. We have post-election audits that reaffirm their accuracy. We have, as I said, a well-oiled machine. And for the president to joke about the nationalization of elections, what it does, even though he has no authority to cancel elections, to change change who runs them, it does create a sense of fear and uncertainty among citizens at a time when we at the state level are working to give them the confidence and clarity they need that our elections will be held and that they can hold their leaders accountable, which is also what this is all about, trying to, at a time when, at least in Michigan, opinion polls show the president is not very popular, trying to create confusion about our ability as citizens to hold him accountable at the ballot box this fall is, of course, un-American. It is undemocratic, but it is not going to change our focus on making sure our elections are held safely, securely, freely this fall, so that citizens can choose their leaders and hold those that they oppose accountable.
And logistically, when we're talking about the Save America Act, what would it mean if it passed before November? Would you even have time and the resources to implement those provisions around voter registration and photo ID requirements without potentially disenfranchising eligible voters? Would that be feasible?
No, it would not be feasible. And unless the federal government wants to, as we've asked for, give us a significant amount of money to help us continue to administer our elections securely and safely, it is untenable to add these additional mandates and requirements that no one is asking for, that are unnecessary for securing our elections, but that would create a lot of challenges in making sure our elections go smoothly. So we are prepared, and the secretaries of state around the nation are talking about how to handle the potential for this legislation to pass. But it is simply untenable and unworkable to expect any state to be able to administer these additional changes to the law in time for the midterm elections. And so what you'd likely see is simply a lot of states not being able to feasibly comply, elections going smoothly and as planned. And likely there will be some legal action if this were to pass to at least prevent it from being in effect this fall, so that we have the protection of the courts and our ability to ensure our elections go smoothly.
A lot to watch for there. Michigan Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson, thanks for your time.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.